Good morning. All right.
Good
How are we doing
morning.
today?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you this morning, Bill?
I'm good. I'm good. What's making you so happy this morning, April?
I don't know what's making me happy this morning, Bill. I'm getting dressed and I'm headed to the office. I don't know. I just woke up feeling really, really good. I had a good day yesterday, got some things done. So I'm
Okay.
feeling really positive with that. But yeah, I'm dressed. I'm headed to the office now.
All right. Anything from yesterday that you want to share?
Only thing that really happened yesterday was I have a lease client, and I was able to possibly secure him a home. It's looking really good. I've been talking back and forth with the listing agent, so
Okay.
that's going pretty good. I was in the office yesterday, working on spoken session, trying to figure out how to do it and things like that. So I feel kind of positive about that.
Wait,
I worked on some
say that one more time. What were you working on yesterday?
seven, just exploring
Oh,
the
Vulcan 7.
software, looking,
Yeah.
yep, looking at aspects of it, things of that sort.
Awesome.
And scripts. So I'm excited to put those to use this morning.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm excited for you to put those to use too. Just to remind you guys, today is the first edition of live lead generation. So my intention is I'm going to do it today. Candace will do it on Thursday. And then more than likely, we're going to switch next week. Candace will do Tuesday. I'll do Thursday. And my plan is to be in the big room and be making my lead gen calls. And you guys can either watch or listen, or if you're making calls, I can walk around and give you some feedback. You know, please understand, guys, we all were not good and not confident and not experienced at the very beginning. And the way that we got better was just simply by doing more of it and knowing that every time we tried, we got better and better and more confident. So if you would like to stop by today or participate today, we'd love, love, love to have you, okay? Okay. Ty, I think the room is big enough for you to share your news. You want to share your news?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I told Bill yesterday that I got my first listing for the year.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh.
That is fantastic.
All right, give us a tiny bit more
Happy.
detail. Where did it come from and what is it and when will it be available?
Oh, sure. It was just a smile from the real estate gods. Now follow me. My mom's best friend from high school's niece is selling her home in Douglasville.
All right.
So,
And what type
yeah.
of property is it?
Single family home, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths. And like I said, in Douglasville, we're listing for $490. She wants to just do a fresh paint. And it was built in 2016, so it's really nothing that needs to be done. She just wants to put a fresh paint and coat. Did I say paint and coat? Coat of paint, which I agree with. And then, kind of get it cleaned up and decluttered. And we'll be going live, I believe, the 24th. All things go well. Because she's also going to Vegas for a week, but that's cool. So we should be live 24th. And I'm super excited. The neighborhood is phenomenal. So I might just have to set up a little side shop in Douglasville.
Hey, there you go. Great job, Ty. Great
Awesome.
job.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Let's huddle and talk about, or we can do it in the open. Really, is what are the ways that we can parlay that listing into additional activity in that neighborhood or additional opportunities in that neighborhood? Anyone want to share anything?
Well, she can definitely door knock to let the neighbors know about her listing and ask them if they're interested in, what their home is worth, or ask them if they know of anyone else who's thinking of selling. So she can definitely capitalize on the door knocking.
I agree. When you door knock, you could and should really have something to hand them, right? Like a one sheet of some sort that might kind of introduce, who you are and what you do in a unique way, and maybe some data on what's going on in the neighborhood, something of that nature. You can say, hey, I wanted to, I'm Ty, I'm going to be marketing this property. You know, it's going to come on the market in about a week. And just wanted to introduce myself to some neighbors. We know that oftentimes the neighbors know people who want to move into the area. So I figured I'd come straight to you, right? Here's a little one sheet on some activity in the neighborhood and some of the services that I provide. By the way, when it comes to real estate, who do you trust, right? And use that as an opportunity to build your database and maybe even your pipeline. I think that's a great idea. You know, I'm curious what some of the sales metrics are out there, because what you might end up happening, you know, you could, let's say you listed the home on Thursday or Friday. I mean, you could literally have like 100 showings over the weekend and have tons of offers, right? And those neighbors are going to see all those cars lined up, you know, on that street and the street across the street and the down, you know, the side street on the side. I mean, what Carrie Veal did the other day was she was actually showing a buyer a property, and there was a huge line. And while she was waiting for her and her client to go into the home, she just went and knocked on some of the other neighbors' doors and said, "This is crazy, isn't it? Right? Have you thought about selling? Look at all these people. One of them might win, and the rest of them are going to lose." So, right? They want to live here. So they would potentially pay top dollar for your property. When was the last time you thought about moving, right? Oh, well, I love this place. I'm never moving. Wonderful. Well, when it comes to real estate, who do you trust? Because there's probably going to be a time at some point in the future that you need a handyman or a roofer or a painter or a landscaper or something like that. I'd love to be able to share that information with you. What's the best way to share that with you, right? So you're using that constantly just to increase the size of your audience, right? And somebody could potentially go from "I have no interest in selling" to "I need to sell right now" in a matter of seconds. Make sense? All right, let's give Ty one more idea on how she can parlay this into more business.
She can go
What about
around
circle
to,
prospecting?
Oh, you guys are awesome. Let's start with Ebony.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, Ebony.
oh
Go
no,
ahead.
you're
Sorry,
fine.
sweetie.
She can go into like small businesses. Let's just say that there was a cleaners or a dry cleaners or a gym, and let them know that they're having, if she does an open house, people are still going to those places. So it's a great way to meet a large amount of people, even if she left a flyer or if they had, you know, kind of like the board that they put stuff on, and just dropped her information, letting them know that there's a new listing. So that way she can just reach a lot of people.
Right. Perfect. April, did you want to share something?
I was thinking of just possibly circle prospect in the neighborhood, to doing in some cold calls, let people know what's going on. Also, if you're going to do an open house, that probably would be a good time to invite them to it.
Love that. Maybe even having like a neighbors, you know, exclusive open house. Like, let's say the open house is from, you know, I don't know, 1 to 4, and you invited the neighbors only from like 12 to 1, something of that nature.
These are great ideas, guys.
It's a good idea.
All right. Congratulations, Ty.
Thank you. Thank you all for the feedback. These are great ideas. My head is going like 1,000 miles a minute right now. So thanks, guys.
Wait till you have like 6 listings at once.
Oh yeah, that's happening. That's the goal for March.
All right. All right. I want to remind everyone of a couple of quick things, then we'll move into some time management discussions. So don't forget that I've sent out a couple of emails now, or 2 emails, I guess, for those that are going to be in small groups. So please take a moment, make sure the small group time and day for your group session is a good match for you. If it is not, please let me know, so we can do any type of resorting that needs to happen.
Hey, Bill, can you just clarify who's in the small groups? Like,
yes. So basically, it may not be perfect, but the way that I have it right now is basically if you've had less than 3 transactions, then you would have been assigned a small group. If you have more than 3 transactions, then you should have a one-on-one. Okay, that's essentially where we drew the line for the moment.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Um, Now, so we have 3 groups that will meet from 11 to 12 on Wednesday, 3 groups that will meet from 3 to 4 on Thursday, and 3 groups that'll meet from 2 to 3 on Friday. And then Monday nights is what we have earmarked right now for folks that are dual career. So if you've been kind of assigned to a small group, again, that doesn't fit your particular schedule, then let me know and I can shuffle some things around. It probably only take us a week or so to recontrol the chaos that this may or may not have created. So hang tight with us. Okay, and this Thursday, remember the growth group will meet from 11 to 12 and the launch group will meet from 1 to 2. That's 1 to 2 on Friday, I should say. So launch 1 to 2 on Friday. We also have a couple of additional classes this week. Candace is going to be working with a business planning workshop tomorrow from 3 to 4 and a scripts and role play workshop 12:30 to 1:30. And today, that reminds me, I'm going to make a note of today I'm going to take the announcements and the help WhatsApp groups and add both Candace's what do you call it, Zoom address and my Zoom address, and make it nice and simple for you guys to hop into each of the groups. Okay. Okay. Any questions on any of the logistics? Okay. And one last thing, I'm looking at this. This is something that I've committed to doing in the month of March. Is the Georgia Legacy Group book club on social equity. They're reading a book called The Color of Law. So that meets from 4:30 to 5:30 Wednesdays in the month of March, with the exception of the very last Wednesday. Okay. All right, let's talk about time management for a second. One more thing. So yesterday I sent out a clip on that I did for the office. I will upload that to the YouTube channel on business planning. I think I don't usually boast or anything, but I think I did a pretty spot on job explaining the business plan yesterday. So it can sometimes when I send you to like a recording of a morning huddle, there's a lot of banter at the beginning, and you know it's it can be a little tough to find the meat. I feel like I was pretty concise and pretty direct yesterday. So please take a moment to review that. If you're fuzzy on the business plan, that's a great video to watch. Okay. All right, let's talk about time management. Talk to me a little bit about what are some of your, I want to make sure that, you know, I could go on time management for a lot of time. So talk to me a little bit about where are you struggling the most with time management right now? And then let's work to correct those specific or address those specific challenges that you're having. So let's do a little round robin. Who wants to share some of their specific struggles around time right now?
Well, there's never enough of it. I feel like there's so much that I want to get done. And for the most part, I'd say about 80% of the time I am following my calendar. But then when I listen to, let's just say like the team meeting and there's something new that I want to do, it's kind of implementing that into, you know, something, you know, learning a new tutorial, whatever that wasn't on my schedule, as well as being able to effectively service all of our clients, you know, all of my clients at the same time. So I don't know how to, I'm struggling with balancing it.
Okay, you said a lot there. I'm going to try to unpack that here in just a second. Who else wants to chat?
I think I struggle with, like, I have an idea of a large, you know, like lead gen, but then I need to break it down into, for me personally, to have like, this is the day I call the first letter. This is the day I call the second letter. This is the day that I cold call. This is the day that if I had a day and I knew on that day I was going to do it, because I keep going, well, I'm busy, I'll just add that in tomorrow. And I never do.
Okay. We're gonna put a halt to the meeting for 2 seconds. Greta, can I speak directly to you?
Absolutely.
Okay. I want you to make 2 lists for me. One is all of the entities, if you will, that you want to call. And the second list is all the days of the week. Okay. And before lunch today, I want you to assign all the entities to a day. And then we won't have that issue anymore. That's a very small issue. Let's just address the issue and we won't have to deal with it anymore. Right? So Tuesdays is for FSBOs, Wednesdays is for expired, Thursdays is for Sphere, right? Whatever it may be. So little things like that, let's go ahead and address them as quickly as possible. And I know I'm not speaking just to Greta, right? So if there's any little thing that is like solvable pretty quickly, let's just go ahead and solve it and let's move on, right? Okay, Ebony, I got like 15 different directions I can go with your comment. Let's hear 1 or 2 more, and then I'll get started.
I have something. Oh, my camera's not on. I'm new, really new, so I'm struggling with choosing what classes I should be doing first, and how to fit all of those in. And I'm going to be honest, I am not lead generating. I'm kind of reaching out to some old friends. I don't expect a lot of activity from that, but just to kind of get in the habit of kind of reaching out to people. And I am in Ignite this month.
Mhm.
But so like this week, Greta helped me. I'm hitting 3 of the FMLS classes. And that takes, 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 days this week. And then you sent out an email, and I'll be honest, it was so overwhelming. Like I didn't read the whole thing and even know what time my group's meeting. And so that's all. Just, I don't know what to hit first and how to prioritize, how to get going here.
Okay. Candace, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, if you're comfortable with that. How would you address that concern?
So I would first say, how would you like the classes that are being offered to be, how would you like notification of those? Would you like a separate email with just classes? And I say just at the bottom of the email, there's a calendar, because that's what I always go to as the attachment, because I'm real visual and that's real visual. And then the second thing I would say is, we need to identify what your goals are. Are you going to be focusing on listing or buyers? And then we know where to start with what classes. I think it's real important to tie the classes that you take to your goals. So I think it's really important to be clear on the goals. And that's maybe where to start.
Yeah, that actually kind of piggybacks with where I was going to go with Ebony, which is, thank you for that, is that's why the plan is so important. So for example, there's like literally hundreds of ways you can find business. But let's say, for example, that I want to find business by Facebook ads, expired listings, and sphere of influence. So those are what I've determined to be the priorities, right? So my job now is to become the expert at those 3 priorities. So if there's a class on open houses, I don't really need to take that, because that's not my focus at the moment. You see what I'm saying? So there'll always be classes that you can take that, and I don't like saying that a class is a distraction, but in some ways it is, because if all you're doing is going to classes and you're not lead generating, we're not making progress so much. Does that make sense? So,
But at the same time, for me, I don't even feel comfortable like lead generating, because I don't feel like I don't have the basic tools yet that I need if I would get somebody,
yeah, so that's one thing we've been doing some one-on-ones with Candace and I have with some people, and we're really let me take a sidebar for 1 second. I kind of consider this honestly as like a tiny bit of a reset for the program. Is what got us here won't get us where ultimately I want to go and where you guys want your business to go. So we brought on Candace, and together we're kind of taking the pulse of where everyone's at and what everyone desires, right? And if there's a better or a different way that we can send out the weekly email, or there's a better or a different way than we can share the videos or whatever it is, I'd love to hear your opinions. Okay, so if you have, whether your opinions are you know, blunt or constructive or not constructive, just share them, and we will listen, right? We want to provide the best set of offerings to you. Okay, so everything you guys are saying is valuable in my opinion. Here's and we're going to create some kind of very simple, you know, kind of here's what to do in the first 30 days type of thing. Okay. Let me throw out a very short list of what I think you should be focused on at the initial stages. Okay. The first thing is we got to make sure that our elementary tools are navigated. So we want to connect DocuSign to Command. We want to get our lockbox key, right? And we want to make sure that we know how to navigate the contracts. Navigate, just find them. Okay. And we need to know how to use FMLS. So those are some of the super basic stuff that we got to do no matter what. The next thing we should focus on is, if I have a seller, what do I do? If I have a buyer, what do I do? We've got lots of videos for seller listing agreements, buyer brokerage agreements. I have a buyer, now what? I have a seller, now what? What's the buyer process and checklist? What's the seller process and checklist? All those videos are in the YouTube. My intention is to make those nice and easy to find and very, very simple to digest. Okay. That way you can say, hey, let's pretend for a second I have a buyer. What am I supposed to do at this moment, right? And the video will go into detail on step by step what you need to address in order, okay? And then of course, some of the other things that you should be focused on are interpretation of the contracts, and we got videos for that as well. So our every intention is to make it as simple as possible for you guys. And the last thing we want to do is put you in a situation where you feel unprepared. Make sense?
That helps a lot. I think another thing for new people at least is some confusion between the monthly training calendar and then what you send out, like, but this helps me prioritize a little bit. So maybe I just don't pay attention to the monthly training calendar until I get this other stuff done.
You know, I do think you should take a look at it, because there's like, you know, buyer consultation or listing consultation, right? So you can get another top producers, you know, you can see them in action, right? But like a command class on something that you're not quite ready for, it's probably not the time for that, right? It's about prioritization, which is another discussion with Ebony, is if we've determined how we're the main levers of lead generation, then we could constantly be distracted by everyone else's stuff, but we just need to push hard on our levers. You see what I'm saying? April, did you want to say something?
Yeah, something that helped me out, Victoria actually helped me with this, was getting my Google Calendar linked and downloaded to my phone as well as my computer. That Google Calendar helps out a lot. It helps you prioritize and know what you can move around and what you can't move around. Another way that me and Victoria talked about it was like, okay, when the calendar comes out, you just pick a day and you look at all of the classes that you may potentially want to take, things that interest you, things that can help you move further with what you're trying to do. And all of those classes that are on the calendar, you put on your Google Calendar. So now you know that they're there, so you don't have to worry about it because it's automatically going to remind you. Then when you get the emails from Bill during the week, you know, or when that once a week at a glance, you take a look at those classes, see which ones you want to do, and then input those on your calendar as well. So now you have both sets of classes. And then if something comes out about the day, or you hear something about something else, then you can refer to your calendar, see if it's there. If it's not, then you can go ahead and put it there. But that Google Calendar helped me out a lot.
All right, April, next time we do a class on time management, you're going to teach it, okay? That was perfect. That was perfect.
Thanks, Bill.
And April, that's exactly what I do. You know, you live and die by your calendar in this business.
Okay, I love hearing that. Love that. Greta.
I have a question about the Google Calendar. Is that the office Google Calendar? Because somehow it comes up on my computer, but it doesn't show up on my phone.
So you have to
Okay.
change the setting on your phone because your phone basically has, you're using the Google Calendar on your phone, right?
I'm using like a ton of calendars on my phone and they
Okay,
show up
so
sync, but I don't know
they,
why.
they are syncing. The issue is what's displayed. So you might have to go in and tell your phone calendar which calendars to display. Let me show you what I mean by that. Actually, let me back up for 1 second. The way that I've handled my time, and believe me, guys, I have tried every planner on the market, every planner on every social media page that I've ever found. Okay. And this is the way I figured it out today. If something is day sensitive, but not time sensitive, it goes here. It goes on my calendar, and that tells me my paper calendar, and that tells me what I need, like emails or introductions or people I need to call, that kind of stuff. I know Command can do it. I prefer it here. Okay. If it is time sensitive, like our small groups or this meeting or coaching sessions or whatever, it goes here, which is, hang on. Let me just share my screen. That'll make a lot more sense, wouldn't it? Okay, you guys see this? So over here is all of the calendars that I may or may not need at any time. Okay, I've got the calendar that Candace and I have been working on behind the scenes. I've got Aubrey's calendar so I can see what Aubrey's up to. I've got my wife's calendar and I can click it on and off whenever I need to, right? I've got my wife's calendar so I can see what she's up to if need be. I got Robin's calendar. I got Susan Corley's calendar. So I got, holidays. I've got the Southeast Regional calendar. So it's all right here. I got my assistant's calendar so I can click on and off whenever I want to see stuff. So Greta, the calendar for the office is a calendar that you can integrate into your Google Calendar, but you can turn it off and on whenever you desire.
So where do I get it? I mean, I'm not good with this. This is not my
Yeah,
superpower.
I actually don't have it synced to my calendar. Does anyone have that?
Ask Lucy and she will send you the calendar.
Okay, thank you, Mihir.
Okay. So what I have here is you can set, date like the Roswell team meeting calendar, right? So every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, it's right there week after week after week, right? Now, if we have one-on-ones or you have a small group, that should be a repetitive event, right? We should also have a repetitive event for lead generation. We should also have a repetitive event for, let's say, that your goals require, let's say 1 appointment a week. So because this is a life by design, what is the ideal time for you to have that appointment, right? Let's go ahead and block that off so we know we have time for it. And then when given the opportunity to set the appointment, you offer that time first. Hey, I'd like to meet Thursday at 3 o'clock. Would that be okay for you? Yeah, sounds good to me. Okay, great. So they fit right into your world. You see what I'm saying? So everything really becomes a question of priority. And this goes back to what Ebony was saying at the beginning, is when given a long list of things that desire your attention, you have to say to yourself, what are my priorities? Well, my priorities are right here, my 411. And my progress towards those priorities are right here. So if somebody says, hey, I want to take you to coffee and pick your brain about recruiting, that's not on my list. You don't get my attention right this second. You see what I'm saying? So there will always be, as you become more and more successful, people will want more and more of your time. And the only way you're going to stay successful is by focusing on the things that matter most to you, right? And the things that matter most to your family and whoever else you might be supporting. There will always be distractions. There will always be some great idea or class or whatever that you're going to have to miss. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, how do I finance the things that I need to finance? Do I finance it with commission checks, or do I finance it with attendance records of classes that I didn't need to go to? Okay, who wants to chime in? Candace, soften that message for me a tiny bit.
I think it's for me, knowing which classes I need. Like I said before, not, I don't want to go to classes I'm not ready for, won't benefit me at the time, but it's knowing which ones I need at what stage.
Right.
Oh,
What was that?
like the most important classes for me right now are like the scripts and dialogues, how to work with buyers and sellers, just depending on, your niche. What are you trying to do? And then that'll help you with that. Because like Bill said, you could take command classes and this and that, but it's just going to boggle your brain down and you won't be focused on what's going to bring you money. You need to focus on more so like lead gen, practicing scripts. I go on YouTube a lot too and just listen to different phone calls. Like if I'm in my car, I'll just listen to like live phone calls just to hear some of the objections and things like that. But that's going to be like your main focus is scripts, dialogue, how to talk to sellers and buyers. And then if you have a seller or buyer, what are you going to offer them? What's going to be your leverage?
Yeah, I'm probably going to say something that's going to frustrate some people, but let me give you an example. I'm looking at the calendar right now. I'm going to give you guys the classes to go to for the next 2 weeks. Fair? Okay, today, team meeting. Tomorrow, if you've earned the right, you should go to the book club. Okay, from 4:30 to 5:30. If you haven't had an appointment in a while, you need to go set an appointment. Okay. Thursday from 1:30 to 3, top lead gen strategies panel. I would go to that. That sounds like a great class to go to. Okay. Friday. Here's an example of something I probably would choose not to go to. Got a hot listing, handle multiple offers in command with Sam. It's a little complex right now for a brand new agent. Okay. I would probably spend that time going back and watching a YouTube video on explaining the buyer brokerage agreement or navigating how to find it or practicing my listing presentation, that kind of thing. At the end of the day, there's only a couple things that matter. You got to know what to say to get the appointment, and you need to know what to say when you're on the appointment. And you need to know the buyer process and the seller process. That's like the heart of it all. Okay. Let's see. The following week, I do the liftoff workshop with Robin from 10 to 11 on the 10th. I do the live listing presentation from 1:30 to 3 on the 11th. And that's probably all I would do. Okay.
Bill, and that illustrates why I don't connect the office Google Calendar to my Google Calendar, because I think it would be overwhelming to see everything that's offered on the office calendar. I just select what I'm interested in, what I feel I need to take, and add that to my Google Calendar.
Exactly. So like the following week, live buyer presentation. I really don't see anything else on here that I would probably good. I hate to say it that way, but we're focused on the biggest rocks of all, which is finding clients. If you don't have any clients, command's not helpful. Yes, Greta.
I think it's kind of like been a recurrent theme in here that there seems to be a lack of a hierarchy of classes and I've said it before, it's like 1,000 targets that we're not real sure because we don't know, being a new person, you don't know what's most important. You don't know what those classes are. It takes a while to even understand the titles and what they mean and how to apply it. So it might be, just a thought, really a great idea when we do the monthly calendar, if you would color code like the newbie classes, the ones that people
you're talking about this calendar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like color code, just go tell Lucy, say, this is what I want my under 3 sales people to do. these are the ones that I would pick first, because it is overwhelming if you don't understand. Like, I've been sent to a command class, and then I get in and I was told you're not ready for it. And I had canceled another class to go to that one. But you know what I mean? Like, there's this,
Yeah.
If I knew, like, tier 1, this is what you're doing. Tier 2, when you feel like you've nailed it, go to tier 2 classes. When you feel like you've nailed it, go to tier 3, always knowing you can drop down if you need a refresher, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a prereq system when you go to university. I can't do algebra till I understand basic math, right?
Yeah, like there is a color coding here, but it's not the way you're asking for it. And I agree with the way you're asking for it is more productive. So I will take this to the meeting this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Ebony, I feel like I probably missed a piece or two of what you were saying. Can you restate what you were saying? I want to put a bow on it.
It kind of sums up what we were talking, well, what everybody's been talking about, but it's more of trying to prioritize. Like, I stay on my calendar and my calendar's set, but if there's something that I hear in team meeting that I want to do, like, I know I want to do homework. In a perfect world, I would be able to do the homework seminar this week. In a realistic world, I know that I already have too much on my plate to do it. So I don't know how to balance, and this is exactly what everyone else is saying, all the classes and all that Keller Williams provide for us, because it's so much content. And in my head, I want all that content because it's going to make me a better agent. I feel that I need to get this done now, but I can't do it now and tour people and send contracts and look up properties. It's overwhelming. So I don't know how to balance all of that to whereas I'm not stretching myself at every end.
Okay, great. So here's one of the things that I would recommend. So let's say I'm looking at my calendar. Let me share my screen again with you. Right, I'm looking at my calendar and I know exactly when the homework certification is. And I just look to see when I have available. Do I have an opening? Right, and let's say the next opening I have for this would be Thursday the 11th. Okay, so this presupposes, by the way, all of your commitments are in your calendar, which I cannot stress how important that is. And even the commitments that you haven't even really firmed up. So like things like date night, or lunch with the kids, or pick up the kid from school, or when you're going to lead generate, or when you're going to go on your appointment, that kind of stuff, right? And then you look at this calendar and you say, hey, I must replace, PC development call because I need to do that event right now. Okay, so PC development call is recorded. I can listen to that at 11 o'clock at night, right? So examine your day-to-day, Ebony, is what I would recommend, and say, monitor every single thing you do during the day and when you do it. And I would be willing to bet, and it's not just unique to you, Ebony, I'd be willing to bet there's probably 3 groups of things that you're going to do today. One is things that you should be doing at exactly the same time you're doing it. One of which is just stuff that you're doing that's just a waste of time anyway. And 2 is things that you could be doing, and it's important to do, but you could be doing after hours when no one's expecting you, right? So one of the biggest deals with time management is identifying what deserves your time, right? What deserves your time. And secondly, what can be done? Like, for example, don't watch a video on contracts during the workday. Do that after hours, because it'll be available after hours, and use the workday to make some phone calls or to text people, or to that kind of thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. So like in a market like this, and I would say I'm going to consider myself a buyer's agent, stuff is moving so quickly that even when I have on my schedule, I say, okay, well, I'm going to preview properties every day or tour somebody between 11:30 and 1. That almost never, ever, ever, it's there, but it never works. And it's just
Why?
like, I feel that because it's
What
just
got in
like
the way yesterday?
Well, I didn't have anybody. I didn't want a tour yesterday, so I was fine with that. But like today, I know I have, a couple tours, but they're not at that 11:30 to 1 because some of the people not available. So
Okay.
it's just like,
So whatever you had at let's say it's at 4 o'clock instead. So whatever you had at 4 o'clock needs to go to 11 on your calendar. Just do a quick switch.
okay.
Right? Like Pam was saying, we live and die by our calendar. I mean, if you guys looked at my calendar today and right now and looked at it 6 hours from now, it looked totally different. And it's up all day. It's right here. So if somebody says, hey, you got a minute? I have to look at the calendar and say, yeah, I have 30 seconds, go. Right? Because I'm trying to do a lot of stuff and I need to be really particular with my time. I want you to think, even if you don't have a lot of clients, I want you to say to yourself, hey, am I using my time as effectively as possible? You ever heard the line that says, I'm going to butcher it, but it's something like all projects take the amount of time allotted or something like that, right? So like if I have to do a 2-hour project, it'll take all week if I allow it to take all week. If I pretend like I'm going on vacation tomorrow, it'll take 2 hours, right? So the idea is, let's not, if we don't have a client, our job is to go find a client, not to like improve our website, for example. Does that make sense? Okay, if you ever have a question about, should I go to this class, just message me, okay? Greta shared a line that says, you can't boil the ocean. I think I know what that means to me. What does it mean to you, Greta?
It means that I have to not try and do everything all at once, but just take it a bucket at a time and really nail something before I move on. And that's kind of the mind shift that I'm working on, so that I'm not constantly overwhelmed with this monumental task ahead of me. It's, it's like eating an elephant one bite at a time. It's the same concept.
Right. It's like, quote, learning the contracts, right? We learn the contracts one at a time. Learning the market. We learn the market one city at a time or one price range at a time. Right? Same kind of concepts. I appreciate you sharing that quote. Candace, did you want to add anything?
I do. I just want to say, the fear is that you're going to have I think the fear is, I know my fear was that I would have a client and I would be afraid that I wasn't servicing them correctly. But you have a lot of support here. So get that problem really fast. And we will help you with the contract. We will help you with the offers. You're not alone, and you will learn fastest by doing that.
That's right.
Just by actually working in your business.
That's right. We have a number. I offered this to a couple of people on the night call yesterday. I'll go ahead and offer it to everyone publicly now. If there's a contract that you're unfamiliar with, okay, go and find, let's say it's the buyer agency agreement. Okay, go watch the video on how to do a buyer agency agreement. Go do one, fill it out to the best of your ability, and send it over to me for review. The best way you're going to learn these skills is by actually doing it. And it'll be a lot less stressful when you're attempting to do it prior to when your client's, pushing you hard to do it at night when there's an offer at stake, right? So if there's a listing agreement or purchase and sale agreement or an FHA loan exhibit or whatever it is, if you need to practice, just work through it, leave whatever need to leave blank and send it over, and we'll give you some feedback so you know exactly how to do it. Okay. I feel bad that a class on time management has gone 14 minutes beyond. So I am very grateful for you guys as always. I appreciate your feedback. We are here to help you. If y'all don't win, we don't win. So I appreciate you helping us help you. Don't forget don't forget tomorrow is the lead generation at the office, or anywhere for that matter. I want tomorrow to be the day that you really push hard on lead generation. Let's go grab some extra appointments so we don't work from behind all month long. This is kind of the rebranded Bold 100. Okay, we're going to do a day of lead generation. If you want to hit 20, awesome, high fives. You want to hit 100, double high five. Okay?
Don't we have lead gen in the office today?
Yes, as soon as I
Okay.
get back
And
from the leadership meeting, I'll be in there. All right, see you in a few.
Thanks, Bill.